Hello and welcome to Conversations in the Community. I am your host, Dania Parker-Smith with parkbench.com, South London, Wortley, and a realtor here in London with Team Forster and New Vista Premier Realty. Today, we have some great talent on the show. We are going to be speaking with an up-and-coming country artist, Patrick James Clark. I was recently introduced to his music via Instagram, and I was instantly a fan. I'm a big country music fan. And also, I noticed some tones in his music that I also noted where other people related him to a little bit of John Mayer. And I thought that was really great because I'm a great fan of John Mayer as well. So welcome to our show, Patrick. I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you. Well, it's always great to meet a fellow John Mayer fan. I too am a very diehard in that category. But no, I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
So, Patrick, how old were you when you knew that you wanted to be a singer and this was part of your life journey?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I don't know if necessarily I knew it was a viable career all the time, but I started playing music when I was 6. I was taking drum lessons and I kind of did that my whole life. And then I actually went to college for jazz drumming. And then when I was sort of at the end of high school, beginning of college, I sort of started transitioning into the singer-songwriter mode and realized that I was kind of more interested in writing songs and singing them, but I didn't really have the skill set for that. So, music's been a huge part of my whole life, but really in high school is when I started kind of to drill down on what that could look like in a professional capacity.
Perfect. And you mentioned some songwriting. So you love songwriting, apparently. Is this one of these things that you see and just you get in that zone and that's all you think about and you just have to get that music down?
Yeah, I think, I've been writing a ton lately, especially just with COVID, because a lot of the live music opportunities are gone. So a lot of us in the music industry have transitioned into writing right now. But 100%, if you get into the brain, if you're in the mindset of writing songs, all you are looking for song hooks, looking for titles. Like your whole world is just you like scouring for song ideas. It really becomes like a tunnel vision type of lifestyle.
And you just recently released a new song called
Mm.
For the Record. And did you write that entirely yourself or was that co-written with anybody else?
Yeah, I did have some co-writers on that actually. It's the first one that I've put out under my artist project that's had co-writers on it. This whole like 2020 and 2021 has really been me jumping into the co-writing space. So I wrote that with a talented guy, Jordan Hansinger, who produced it, and then Rich Cloak, who is another talented country artist in his own right.
I read it or I listened to, I really thought it was wonderful.
Wow,
So
thank you.
yeah, and you have done some performing with other people. Who have you performed with or for, shared a stage with?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, prior to lockdown, I played around 200 shows a year, and I played kind of all over Southern Ontario doing bars, restaurants, and that sort of thing. But in terms of the country sphere, I've gotten the chance to open up for like the Rec Laws and James Barker Band, and I played at Trackside Music Festival here in London and Park Jam Festival the year following Trackside. So there's a lot of great country acts on those festival stages, but
There is.
yeah, so sort of a little bit of both. A lot of like sort of pubs and restaurants, and then a few sort of more iconic country shows as well.
Awesome. That is so exciting. Now, you mentioned songwriting has become more prevalent with COVID, and obviously, your live performances have been impacted. How has that, say, had played on your journey to becoming more well known as an artist, like being launched out there? Like, I'm sure
Yeah.
that impacts it.
Yeah, I think it's a good testament to the idea of when one door closes, another door opens. Because since the lockdown in 2020, I've had 4 songs cut by other artists, which is something that wasn't happening at all for me before because I wasn't really pursuing that route. I was writing for myself and I was performing, but we all sort of in the indie music industry kind of came together and started writing a lot more to sort of navigate the lockdown. And by way of that, a lot more music that I've been a part of has got to come out in the world, and including songs. There's a country artist here in London, Aaron Allen, who just put a song out to radio that I'm a writer on. Maddie
Nice.
McKenzie, Emily Clare. So it's been great to just get to be a part of other people's projects. So if anything, it's actually helped me become more known.
Exactly.
by
You
not
know,
playing.
Dolly Parton has made more money on the songs she wrote than actually her own albums.
Sure, yeah, I believe it.
So I would never knock the songwriting for sure, because that's a skill and a talent, right?
Mhm.
So where can people go to download your music or watch some of your videos?
Yeah, probably the best place is patrickjamesclark.com, just my website, and that links you to anywhere that you download music or stream music from, and my YouTube channel. But Patrick James Clark on Instagram or Facebook is also a great resource and where you can kind of stay the most up to date with what I'm doing.
I also noticed on your Facebook page, you do a little bit of a live of originals. You cut originals. How often do you do that?
Yeah, so the show's called Originals Only. It's a live stream I host every Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And it was sort of an answer to writing all of this new music during the lockdown, but not getting a chance to really show anyone because, if you write last year, I wrote 150 songs and, we got 5 or 6 recorded. And, there's a lot of great material that just, it isn't feasible to go to a full studio production on. So this was sort of the answer now. At the end of the week, I showcase the songs I wrote that previous week and get feedback and get some audience engagement to see how those songs go. So every Sunday at noon on my Facebook page, you can catch that.
Awesome. Well, I hope that more people will check that out. In London, we have some special places, right, that we try and focus. And our website is for a community website that features like the Wortley Village area and the Soho and down into downtown London. If you had to pick some favorite places in those areas, what would those be?
Well, I adore Wortley Village. I had some friends that lived in there, and I've been able to play a few times. The Fire Roasted Cafe was a coffee shop in Wortley that I got to play a lot in a couple of years ago, and was able to play a lot of sort of house parties and backyard parties in Wortley, and that whole place I just adore. The downtown core is where I play a lot of my music. I get to play sort of that strip of Richmond Row, in venues like the London Wine Bar and McCabe's and just a number of those kind of pub and restaurants that occupy the downtown core. So those are really some of like the places that I love to return to. And then, I mean, you can't beat Wortley Village, right?
I know, right? It is a great spot. And lastly, I just want to ask you, and I'm sure lots of people ask you, when you were growing up or starting to develop your craft, who did you look to for inspiration?
John Mayer is probably the biggest musical inspiration for me. I do a lot of country now, but growing up, his first album came out when I was 6. So I sort of grew up listening to his music my whole life. And especially when I got into high school and learned to play guitar, that was sort of how I was modeling writing songs at the time. And then as I sort of discovered country music and discovered kind of what modern country music was becoming, that really created a whole new layer to add into songwriting. So I'd say that the base layer is definitely pop artists like John Mayer or Jason Mraz, and then I sort of went from there.
Well, Patrick, I cannot wait until you can do a live performance here in London again, because I am definitely going to be in that audience, coming and seeing and sitting with my husband and enjoying. So thank you so much for joining us here again today.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so thank you, everyone at home. And if you would like to watch any of these videos, please go on the parkbench.com site and you can look at any of the interviews that we've done, as well as you can hit the subscribe button to so that you don't miss any of these interviews. And also, being a realtor here in London, if you are looking to have help with any of your real estate needs, please give me a call. I would be happy to connect with you. Thank you, and stay tuned for when we come back next time.
Like a needle sliding through